Hi everyone, if you would like to go ahead and skip to the group selection, as always, the timestamp is in the description box, but otherwise I wanted to let you all know that Rose Forever has kindly sponsored this reading for us. They have sent this really beautiful box here with these roses. Now, you guys have probably seen Rose Forever going around on YouTube. I know I like to watch Kempire because I like Real Housewives recaps, but he's always talking about Rose Forever. And so anyway, they sent me some roses here. I ended up getting, I believe these are the lilac ones, but they are having a very special promotion. So they are celebrating 6 years now. So they have a special giveaway from March 17th through the 23rd, so coming up very soon. Anyone who places an order is automatically entered to win an extra bouquet every single day. So you can order from anywhere in the world, and every time you place an order, you are automatically entered to win an extra bouquet. So you might be a lucky winner who gets a free bouquet with their purchase, okay? So I'll have the link in the description box as well for the Rose Forever flower shop. And then you also get a $20 discount code. It's Gracie 20. But again, I'll have that in the description box for you all. And so, yeah, you can take a look at their website and check it out. They have all kinds of different flower arrangements. They also sell candles. They've sent me a candle before as well. And I forgot to mention too, they have this little drawer. Now they have different ones. If you don't like the clear acrylic cases, they also have ones that are in like little velvet boxes and things like that. I don't know what I'm gonna put in this drawer because honestly I need to get my desk reorganized, but I just stuck some like little pictures and things that I have. I need to figure out something with my desk setup, but I used to have like pictures like this and things like that in the background when I would do readings, and I don't know how you guys are liking like the current layout. You can let me know in the comments because it would be nice too to be able to feature like the roses, but I have my desk like so cluttered right now, so I need to figure that out because these are so pretty and they would look really cute in the background. But when I was sitting down to film, I was like, okay, Bethany, you have nowhere on this desk to place these roses. So I don't know, I need to figure something out because I miss having, you know, like cute little pictures, you know, like on the side and stuff. At least I have room for my candle, but I don't know, I gotta figure something out. But these are really nice. And they're real roses too. And I mean, if you take care of them, which really amounts to just leaving them alone from what I read on the card, which I can do. I'm not a plant person. It's funny because I have fake flowers everywhere because I love the look of it. You know, like I like to envision nature around me, but I do not have the space, time, or energy to take care of actual plants. It's hard enough keeping my baby and my pets alive and myself alive. So if you're like me and you are not blessed with a green thumb and you get these roses, don't worry. Basically, like, don't touch them, don't put water on them, and they'll last a long time. And I like the clear, I will say, I like the acrylic box that they, sorry, I almost dropped that. I like the acrylic box that they come in because you're not supposed to let them get dusty. So you can enjoy them without having to worry about dust, which I think is also nice. But again, they have different options if you don't like the clear box. Okay, I think that pretty much covers it. So again, link to the shop is in the description box, and you do get the little $20 discount code, and it does help the channel to support Rose Forever since they are sponsoring this video. So yeah, I think that covers everything. Also, I almost forgot. I just want to say a quick thank you and a shout out to everyone who has been subscribed to the Patreon. anyone that has sent me like super thanks or has sent me any donation on Venmo or has bought a personal reading from my Etsy store. I really do appreciate it so much. It's been tough, like trying to navigate everything all at once, especially with being a new mom. And you all have been so patient, so supportive. So I just want to say a huge thank you, as well as to everyone who stays engaged on the YouTube channel over here too. I do read your comments. I know I haven't been responding to them like I used to, so I do apologize for that as well. But thank you so much for staying engaged and being patient with me as I navigate figuring out how to balance everything. I don't think I've achieved that balance yet by any means. And I think especially, I don't know, just going through this experience of motherhood, I will say, has been the most humbling experience of my life and the most challenging one too, but also the most rewarding, obviously. But it's just one of those things when I think I have it figured out, James learns how to do something new. Like, he's standing up now and he's going to be walking soon. I'm pretty sure he's going to be walking before his first birthday, and he's about to turn 10 months. He's already crawling all over the place. So he can pull himself up to stand now. So I think walking is the next step. And he's just started to say mama, which is really sweet. But yeah, he's growing up so fast. And like I said, every time I think I have like our day-to-day routine figured out and work figured out, because I'm still working remotely from home, I just can't send him to daycare. Like, I just can't do it. I don't have it within me to do it. I miss him even when he takes a nap. Like, I'm obsessed with him. So it's been a lot, y'all. It's been a lot, but it's also of my own making, right? Like, I made these decisions. I'm the one who decided to not put him in daycare, so I have to, navigate that and like trying to work from home at the same time. But I just think it's worth it. Like, he's only going to be a baby one time, so I have had to make sacrifices and figure out, where I can cut back. And so I know I'm not on top of things like I used to be, like responding to comments and things like that. So again, I'm sorry, appreciate you all, and I'm probably repeating myself, but I can't say thank you enough. Like, this community across the board has been so wonderful. The emails you all send me when you get your personal readings mean so much to me. I don't leave my house much anymore, especially like working from home on top of it. And so, like, I don't know, just having that feedback from you guys really does make a difference, and it really makes me feel even more connected, to the work, and reading your comments on, like the YouTube videos and things. So I just want to say a huge thank you, and you all do as much for me as I hope you all get, from the readings that I'm providing. Like, I really do feel so blessed to have the community and the following that I have, like I said, across YouTube, Etsy, Patreon. Thank you so much. So yeah, I just had to say that because I feel like it's been a minute since I've expressed my gratitude. So I just wanted to say again a huge thank you. welcome to your reading. So we're going to talk about your married life with your future spouse. What can you expect? And we'll just see what messages come through. A big thank you to my spiritual team and your spiritual team for the messages we're about to receive. And I'm using the Wisdom of Pooh Tarot deck to start us off. And we'll take all upright cards, connecting with the energy of Group 1 and Group 1's future spouse, married life with their future spouse, Peace Spirit. Also, sorry about my band-aid. I cut myself while cooking and I have no idea how I did it. I just looked down and I was bleeding. I was like, oh, that's nice. And I must have because it's like a paper cut. So I don't know if I did it when I was tearing off like the seal of something, because I wasn't even using a knife. And I'm like, this is another reason why I'm not great in the kitchen. Cooking is not my jam. I would rather clean any day. Like, cleaning is relaxing, but cooking, stressful. All right, enough about that. We're starting off with the Ace of Pentacles. We have the King of Chocolate Pentacles, the Magician. We have the Two of Swords, as well as the Strength card. I love that we got a match here. The King of Chocolate Pentacles matching with the Queen of Chocolate Pentacles. So Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo energy. Now, if you're not one of those signs, it's okay. I think this is really just describing the dynamic between you two, highlights of your marriage, but I'm going to get into that in a second. Your bottom of the deck is the Queen of Wands. So Leo, Aries, and Sagittarius energy here. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. I will also say, if you hear any background noise, I do apologize, but hopefully it's not too distracting if you do. All right, let's go ahead and get into this. I love the way this Ace of Pentacles is depicted here, and especially with it being your first card. I feel like this is sort of the overarching theme of your married life. This idea that no matter what is going on in the outside world, no matter what is going on with work for you, family, friends, any sort of inconvenience in like your day-to-day life, like maybe you just had the worst day ever, traffic was terrible, the weather was just blah. No matter what is going on in the outside world and other aspects of your life, all of that jazz, same thing for your future spouse. You two always have a safe haven, a safe sanctuary in each other. I think that the home that you two are going to share together is like the most peaceful, relaxing, tranquil kind of environment for you two. And I think even when, if you decide to have children or you throw something like that into the mix, or you have a lot of pets, even with that, it's like you still find comfort even in that chaos, because it's like it's our chaos, right? Because children and pets can be a lot. But it's one of those things where that's always your safe space, wherever your future spouse is, that's your safe space. And they would say the same, for you as well. But it's like we find comfort in each other. We find comfort in our little routine and habits together at home. It's like home is that safe, cozy environment. And I think if something bad happens to you, it's just I can't wait till I get home. I just want to get home. I want to get home to my person. And I know things are going to feel better when I'm at home, when I'm in bed, when I'm laying next to them, when they hug me. I just know things are going to feel better. And I love that. I feel like you two are each other's rock. It's like in life, there's so many unpredictable variables, but I can always count on you, right? In life, I can expect the unexpected, but with you, I know exactly what I'm getting. I can trust you. You're going to be honest with me, faithful to me. my reliable, dependable person. And that's why we have this earth sign energy coming up so much. It's that stability, it's that security within each other. And so that's why I said, even if you don't have a lot of earth sign placements in your birth chart, I don't think that really matters. You can take that as confirmation here, but I feel like what your spiritual team was trying to say, with group 1 being group 1, what makes this group 1 is that you and your future spouse are going to be each other's safe space, your home. And so in terms of married life, it's going to feel very stable, very secure, very grounding. There's not a lot of, like passionate, heated arguments, or like instability, or, you're not going to have a partner that has unpredictable mood swings or, is short-tempered. Daily life is not going to be filled with a ton of conflict. It's not like that. I also feel like you two are really going to help each other in terms of personal growth and goals, even the small day-to-day things, like, oh, I want to try to eat, healthier, or I want to get more consistent, with my sleep schedule, or I want to work out more, or I would really like to start this hobby, but, I've been putting it off, or I can't find the time, for self-care, like the small little day-to-day things, or, I really wanted to reorganize the pantry, or even like household, like DIY projects and things like that. Even the smaller personal goals. You two are so supportive of each other, encouraging, motivating, and I think really keeping tabs on each other in a sweet way, like, hey, like I noticed that you seemed kind of down yesterday, or, hey, like I noticed you said that you really wanted to, like start knitting or something, or start crocheting. So I bought you some yarn, or I bought you some needles to get you started. That sounded weird, bought you needles for like knitting or crocheting. And then, of course, even for bigger crossroads moments in your life where things do feel like really intense. Sometimes we have big life decisions and we can make them pretty dramatic in our minds, right? Like little piglet here, like standing on this board, like, is it life or death? No, but sometimes it can feel like that, right? Like when we're so afraid of making a mistake, and we're really nervous about it. With this strength card, I really see you two giving each other the confidence and like, I'm going to hold your hand, and no matter what the outcome is, whether you're successful or not, I'm going to be there to support you and help you wherever the chips fall. I'm going to be there. I'm going to help you. So this is a very supportive, nurturing connection here. And I think really believing in each other too, like really hyping each other up when necessary, especially with this Queen of Wands energy, like really building up each other's self-confidence, feeling like you're going to be okay. And I think you two have a really good intuitive understanding of each other. Like when does my partner need advice versus when does my partner need emotional support, or when does my partner just need a shoulder to cry on, or a joke, to lighten the mood, lighten the tension, that sort of thing. And this is a very specific message here, so it may only be for like one person watching this. But if you've wanted it, like if you're into gardening, or if you wanted to get into gardening, or you've always dreamt of having like a really nice backyard garden, a really luxurious backyard sort of retreat, I definitely see that being sort of like a project that you two both work on together, or even like growing your own herbs, or like beekeeping. Again, like that's very specific. Some of you may have even wanted to live on like a farm or something like that. Or even like have your own winery. Again, very specific, but that could just be for like one or two of you. And I think always keeping an eye on each other. Like notice how Pooh is like out here. You can see him from the window. Like always keeping an eye on each other It's like, and again, in a very like sweet, supportive way, like looking out for each other, paying attention, you know, like you don't even have to tell your partner that you had a crummy day. They're going to notice that you've had a crummy day and try to help in some way. Or, you know, how you may share something with someone and they don't necessarily remember it. Your future spouse will be very attentive. So if you say that you have, I don't know, like a work evaluation, you know, like next week, and you're really nervous about your performance review, your future spouse, you know, might do something sweet for you, like cook you breakfast that morning, you know, or leave you a sweet little note in like your lunchbox for work or something, or bring you flowers, you know, for when you get home from work. Just like sweet little things like that. That's what I mean by checking in and keeping tabs, like in a sweet way, not like a controlling way, but in a way of like, wow, like you notice, you pay attention, like being genuinely helpful. And I do think both of you have a very similar view on finances and how money should be spent, how money should be invested. And this could even be the group where you two go into business together or start a business or start a side hustle together. And I do feel like with this particular group, there's a nice equitable distribution when it comes to contributions to the marriage and the household, okay? So what I mean by that is not one person is bearing the burden of everything, of all the responsibilities by themselves. So there's equal distribution, you know, so one person isn't doing all the household chores or all the childcare or, you know, doing, I don't know, like all the errands. Like there's equal distribution between those things. And I definitely feel like you two are in a very good place financially. Like there's a lot of stability here when it comes to finances. And I do feel like this is a dynamic where your future spouse is your best friend, but also your closest confidant. And I would say you both play sort of mentor to each other at different points in your marriage. You know, like both of you really trust the other person when it comes to advice. And I don't think that either one of you makes any big decision without consulting the other person and genuinely like wanting feedback, you know, like not telling your partner about a decision out of obligation, but really genuinely including your partner in that decision-making process and valuing their input. Again, like not out of obligation, but because you really want to hear what they think. Okay, let's see what else we get here. So far, this is looking very good. Married life with your future spouse. Yeah, we've got another message here about crossroads. We have commitment. Dreams. So we have crossroads, choices, different options, commitment, proposal, marriage, higher level of commitment, dreams, divine guidance, believe, pay attention. And we have celebrate here, fun, party, celebrations, and events. And we have universe, trust in the divine timing, and trust in the universe. Okay. I feel like there was no rhyme or reason to the way I put these down. Here we go. Good enough. With commitment here, this tells me that in terms of your marriage as a whole, this is a stable, lasting marriage. So this is a good sign, right? Like no divorce, no second marriage. Now, you may already be on your second marriage, right? Like everyone watching this has different past experiences. However, this marriage is going to last, okay? So there's no marriage after this one. This is your forever person when you meet them, okay? But this tells me there is honesty here, there's faithfulness, And we already saw that with your tarot, but it's nice to have that confirmation, because some of you may be anxious about that, or, may have trust issues, or may have dealt with infidelity in the past, or, you just may worry about that. But there is stability here. There is true commitment. And this tells me too that both of you are willing to talk out problems, willing to work on things. If it ever came to a point where you needed marriage counseling, or, you needed to do something to, repair any fractures in your marriage. All marriages have ups and downs, right? But this tells me both of you would be willing to do the work and could resolve any issues between you two, right? Now, the crossroads coming up here again, I do think that there could be at least one major point in your marriage where you two are faced with a crossroads moment. And obviously with this, this being a general reading, this could be so many things, but for this to come up twice now, because it came up the first time with the Two of Swords, right? This tells me that there is going to be a moment in your marriage where you two have to make a big life decision together, and you two are going to be able to work through it and come to a compromise where both of you are happy. And this could be like a wait in advance, I don't want to say a warning, but more so like a heads up, like, hey, if you can remember this like years from now in the future, or like whenever you're facing this, just know like you two are going to get through this. And maybe for some of you, this is even like prior to getting married. For maybe just a few of you, like if this is a long distance connection and you're worried, like, are they going to move here? Am I going to move there? Whatever the issue is, like you two are going to work through it. And like just a few examples to give you context, like this crossroads moment could be like deciding to have children or not, or deciding if you're going to relocate because your partner got a great job opportunity, but it's in another country or in another state or city, right? Or it could be something like someone's parent, is getting older and needs care, and you're trying to decide, are they going to move in with us, or, are we going to look into like long-term care facilities? Like that would be a big crossroads moment, because that would be a big life change, right? And a big commitment. So things like that, just to give context here. Now with celebrate here, I do think that you two are going to put a big emphasis on birthdays, holidays, any sort of like milestone moment. You're going to celebrate, you're going to have your traditions, lots of dinner parties, lots of friends over, family members coming in from out of town, any excuse, I think, to throw a party or a celebration, really getting into the holidays, decorating up the house, whatever holidays you celebrate, making your own traditions together, maybe buying very thoughtful, maybe even extravagant gifts, for like birthdays and anniversaries, just making a big deal about things, because why not, right? Like, why not have something joyful to look forward to? And why not really celebrate those big achievements? Because both of you are hard workers. So if someone gets a promotion, or, if you do start a business together and you end up having a really successful like first year or something like that, it's like, why not celebrate that? Because we work hard and we deserve to celebrate. And with dreams here, I do think that both of you are going to accomplish a lot more of your dreams and aspirations and like ambitions and goals, like things that you were never able to, for whatever reason, like achieve on your own, big and small. I just feel like you two are so supportive of one another. You make such a great team. You really help each other. And I really feel like this is a marriage where both of you are on equal footing, right? Like there's a lot of mutual respect here. And yeah, I just feel like it's one of those things where you could have done it on your own, but to have the other person's support makes it so much easier. You know, it's like the things that didn't seem feasible before, now that I have my partner by my side, I realize I could have achieved it all along. I just needed that support. I just really needed someone in my corner encouraging me and believing in me and helping me out when I needed it. And I do feel like with this universe card here, both of you are going to feel very lucky to be with each other. You're going to feel like it was a fated connection, like you were meant to be. You couldn't imagine being with anyone else. It's like the stars aligned, you know, like it really is a very romantic feeling between you two. And like, yes, there's that companionship and really enjoying each other's company, but there is also that passion there. I just feel like with you two, that passion is funneled into intimacy rather than like triggering each other or having like passionate fights and things like that. It's really more so having this very like sweet, supportive dynamic between you two, but then the intimacy is like very heartfelt, which I think is nice because you really trust each other, right? Married life with your future spouse. We have influence here. Confusion. And we have flirt. With this influence card, I'm getting several messages. One, you two are a very positive influence on each other. It's like if you're ever struggling with something, you may even sort of hear your partner's voice in your mind or be reminded of some kind, supportive words they said to you or some good advice. You may have kind of like sayings between each other, like inside jokes, things like that. That actually help you out, you know, in moments when you're struggling. I think as soon as you start to think about your partner, you smile. It is a very, like I said, very sweet dynamic. And I think also you two are very protective over each other. So you don't really badmouth each other. You know, you might have moments where you vent to someone that you trust, but I do think you keep it very respectful, and you're very mindful when it comes to that. You know, you try to respect the privacy, I'm hearing the sanctity of your marriage. You try to keep those boundaries because you don't want family and friends gossiping about your marriage, and you don't want, especially like for it to get through the grapevine and like people that you're not even close to like know your personal business. And I think you're just very protective of each other, very defensive, but in a good way. You know, it's like, I'm not going to let someone badmouth my partner, or I'm not going to badmouth my partner to someone else in a moment of anger because I know I'm going to regret it. So I'm just not going to cross that line. I might vent if I'm frustrated, but there's a difference about venting about a situation and venting about your partner's character, right? So I think, you know, you keep within that boundary, both of you do. And with confusion here, again, I think anytime you have a problem, you two really lean on each other. It's like the first person I want to talk to if I have some kind of issue or some sort of decision that I have to make, I want to talk to my partner. Now with flirt here, I do think there's like a very natural rapport between you two. It's very easy for you to talk to your partner. Again, that may seem obvious, but not all marriages have positive communication, right? And I do think you two are very flirtatious with each other, with like a nice sort of banter back and forth, but it's more so like a banter between, like you would see between friends. Because I do think there's a lot of laughter, a lot of inside jokes. If there's teasing, like it's very gentle teasing. You two don't really like roast each other or anything like that. It's just very sweet and supportive. Lots of compliments back and forth, words of affirmation. Let's see. Time, presence, and self-awareness. And butterfly, transformation, joy, beauty, and transience. With this presence and self-awareness, I do think both of you try to be very present in the connection, very present in your marriage, present in your day-to-day life. And what I mean by that is you're not constantly distracted. You know, so like if you two are sharing a meal together, you're not scrolling on your phone, like you're actively engaged in conversation together. You really want to hear about your partner's day and they want to hear about yours, like really having that genuine interest. And I think, you know, the way the world is now, like a lot of us are very attached to screens. And so I think it's really nice and refreshing to see this in your marriage, that both of you really try to be very present with each other and try to give the other person your full attention. And like when you're in conversation, like actually listening to each other and not listening just to respond. And I think honestly, this is one of the most respectful things you can do for your partner on a day-to-day basis. So I think you have a very healthy dynamic here together. And I also think with self-awareness, being aware of your partner's pet peeves and like their little irritations and annoyances on a day-to-day basis, and trying to be respectful of those, because everyone has their quirks, right? You know, like everyone has a certain setting for the thermostat that they prefer, or you know, when they're sleeping at night, do they like the door open or closed, or I don't know, just like little things, right? So you try to be mindful of each other, and I think it's nice, like you both actively try to not get on each other's nerves because it is hard, right? Like living with another person, even when it's the love of your life, can be tricky, right? People have different like needs in terms of like cleanliness or neatness, or even different preferences for like design aesthetics. And, you know, I think some of the little things that couples fight about, you two don't really fight about, because you try to be self-aware, you try to be mindful of your partner, and you know their likes and dislikes, and you try to just be respectful of each other's, space, and even like a need for alone time, right? Like being respectful of that, or even the opposite, you know, being respectful of, okay, like my partner's love language is quality time, so I need to make an effort there, right? With butterfly here, I feel like this is just really reassurance that your life is going to be better. When you're married to your partner, you're going to feel overall happier, being married than you were being single on your own. That's not to say you won't maybe miss some aspects of being single, right? Like we can all get nostalgic from time to time, but I think overall you would say, yeah, like my partner really improved my life, and I'm so grateful and happy to be with them. They bring a lot of joy, a lot of beauty into my life, and yeah. And I think again, like you two are going to grow together, not grow apart, which I think is really beautiful. All right, anything else, Spirit, before we do wrap up? And we have Trickster, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Oh, this is actually a very cute little message to kind of end on. You two like to play pranks on each other. I do think this is one of the more playful aspects here to your connection. I feel like your spiritual team wanted to come in and say like, hey, it's not always so like sweet between you two, and it's not always so serious between you two. Like there is this playful dynamic where you like to prank each other a little bit. Nothing mean, nothing hateful, just joking around on each other. So this is just one aspect to the connection. But yeah, like just little pranks. Harmless fun though, okay? Not like the crazy, like mean pranks you see on the internet. All right, group one. And just to wrap up your reading here, we're going to get you an Alchemy of Spirit card. Now, this is just a bonus message. Whatever your spiritual team wants to say to you doesn't have to be related to the reading. Group one. We have the Island. This is card number 17 here. I do like the guidebook for this one. Moment of presence, here and now, that is all there is. Have you forgotten how to be in awe of the little things? Well, today the universe wants to remind you to be in the moment. Maybe you have spent so much time thinking about where you want to go that you have forgotten to live in the present. Slow down, get out of your head, and look around you. Feel the vibrance of the trees, listen to the birds, and get in tune with the beauty of the world. Place your feet on the ground and your hands on your chest. Feel your presence and the beat of your heart. Feel the cold, feel the heat, lower your shoulders, unclench your jaw, and reconnect with your body. Find refuge within your own being. I cannot say that name. I do apologize. I don't even want to try because I feel like I'm just going to butcher it. But there is a certain Zen master here that they're referencing, credited the Buddha for saying that there is a safe island within yourself that you can go back to every time you feel afraid, unstable, or in despair. The island of self is just one breath away. It is through practicing stillness and being grounded in the moment that you can access this place of tranquility in your soul. So the more hurry you have, the more stillness you'll need to practice. Try meditating. You don't need to do it for hours. Even committing to 5 minutes daily is an enormous achievement. I do like this for you, Group 1, because I feel like my Group 1s tend to be, not always, but Group 1 tends to be the group of like overachievers and people who are very critical of themselves, very hard on themselves, or people who are such perfectionists that they end up procrastinating, more so that type A energy. So I really feel like this is just good advice for my Group 1s, like just relax, breathe into the moment, be present, and just remember your mind should be a safe space for you, right? Shouldn't be a place of anxiety, fear, worry, doubt. And if there is, or if that is the case, check in with yourself, check in with your body. What does your body need? How can you comfort yourself, okay? All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Hi Group 2, welcome to your reading. So we're taking a look at your married life with your future spouse. What can you expect? A big thank you to my spiritual team and your spiritual team for the messages we're about to receive, connecting with Group 2 and Group 2's future spouse. What can they expect from married life? And I will go ahead and say if you hear any background noise, I do apologize, but hopefully if you do, it's not too distracting. We're going to do all upright cards today. Married life with your future spouse. What can you expect from my Group 2s? We have togetherness. This is like the cutest 8 of Pentacles with these like little pancakes. So adorable. Oh, we have the 10 of Cups. Kind of slide these over a little bit here. And we have the 6 of Cups. The 5 of Swords. The Fool, and your bottom of the deck here, we have the 4 of Swords. I do want to clarify this 5 of Swords really quickly here. Clarify the 5 of Swords, please. Queen of Swords, okay. So married life, Group 2, seems very wonderful for this group. With togetherness here, I do think quality time is a really big deal. This is something that both of you prioritize. It could be a love language for both of you. You know, date night is like every night, you know, like you two really, really love to spend time together. You know, there's genuine companionship here. And I do think as well, it's not even just one-on-one time for you all. Like there is a lot of one-on-one time for sure. You know, there's a lot of dates, a lot of cuddling up, you know, together and, you know, doing hobbies that you both enjoy together and cooking together and cleaning together and just doing everything together, really. You know, like being each other's shadow almost. There's a lot of togetherness, but I think also you two really like to socialize together, and you may be more of an introverted person, and it could be that your future spouse introduces you to their group of friends, but I do think, or even like you two make friends together as a couple. So you have like couple friends that you go out on dates with, or if you have children, you know, like maybe you'll have mom friends, and then those mom friends, you know, bring along their partners, and then, you know, all the families end up getting together, you know, things like that. But I do think you two both share a social circle together as well, or maybe you'll be very close with each other's families. That could also be a thing, but I'm more so getting friendship there, stronger than family. But I do think there's a lot of socializing together as well. So there is a lot of quality time being spent together. And I think also there's a sense here of never having to go through anything emotionally difficult on your own. Like this is a marriage where there is a lot of openness when it comes to feelings, and it's not even a big deal, you know, like you can share no matter how deep it goes, you know, no matter how vulnerable it is, like you can share anything. And I'm really getting this from how Eeyore is in the water here, and you know, all of his friends are throwing this life raft, you know, down to him, and just this idea that even when you feel completely lost in your feelings and you can't even put words to how you're feeling, you just know that you're deep in it. Even then, you know, there's that support that you need in that moment. So I really feel like you and your future spouse, don't hold back, don't keep secrets, you know, don't repress feelings from each other. are both pretty vulnerable and pretty open with each other. And I think even more importantly than that, you know how to support each other, right? Because everyone has different needs when it comes to how they need to be or want to be supported. So I really feel like you both have a good understanding of each other's emotional needs. And I will say with this Six of Cups, for those of you who are watching this group and really want children someday, or really want to have a child someday, you two are going to make amazing parents together. Like, there's a real energy here of teamwork, and I think also a real fondness, like when you look back at all the memories that you'll share together as a family. I think that's a really big deal. And I think both of you will be quite sentimental, about those years that you were parents, with like little children, or, like all the milestone moments that kids go through as they grow up. There's a real sentimentality here, and both of you appreciating it because the time really does just fly by, as parents, and really enjoying that aspect, like we're not just married partners, we're not just friends, like we also went through parenthood together, which is a pretty big bonding experience, and helped us get to know each other on a totally different level, right? So I think that's a pretty big significant part too for some of you here. Now, if you're not wanting children, the Six of Cups could also be referring to sharing past lives together, and having this connection from being soulmates in a past life and having that history, and maybe that's why you two have such a good understanding of each other's emotional needs. And I think regardless, there's a real emphasis here on making memories together that are going to last a lifetime. And I'm hearing like all my best moments have been spent with you by my side. And I'm so happy that you were there for all of the best moments of my life too, like all my personal achievements and things like that. Like I couldn't have done it without you, or I was so happy that you were there to celebrate with me. I also feel like you two are the couple that honestly a lot of people admire and look up to. Like, I'm hearing marriage goals. A lot of people really look at your marriage as being almost like perfect, or like, wow, like those two really have it together. They really have it all figured out. And other couples may even come to you for advice, in their own marriage. Like, how do you two do it? How do you get along so well? And there is this energy here with this Four of Swords of helping sort of put each other back together again. There are moments in life that can really, really break us down, really challenge us, really test us. But for you two, like there is a strong emphasis here on helping to build each other back up. And I'm especially thinking like if you ever have to go through some sort of loss, where there's grief or something like that, really building the other person back up. Pulling you back from the brink, the darkness. And I think also on the flip side of that, really genuinely being happy for each other and supportive if someone wants to take a bit of a risk and, follow their dream, do something fun that they've never done before, or do something just for the pure joy of it, or because it's their dream, and really being supportive of that. And I don't know if this is you or your future spouse, but whoever is more so in touch with their divine feminine energy could have a pretty strong inner critic, could be quite critical of themselves, or may even just have a tendency to like really overthink things and then feel bad about themselves, like frustrated that they can't make a decision. Your partner's really going to help you through that, like really going to help you turn sort of like your mind, turn your mind back around, like if your mind sometimes works against you, this would be like your partner really helping you get back on track. There may be a few of you here that were also drawn to group 1. Group 1 had a little bit of that in their reading as well. I do think that you all also will really enjoy your partner's cooking, and maybe you are also really into cooking or baking here, but it seems like food is a pretty big aspect of your marriage, and that makes a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of our celebrations and like holidays and like gatherings and things like that are centered around food, and people will even say that about the kitchen, right? Like the kitchen is the heart of the home. And so I feel like food is a pretty big deal for you guys. Like meal times are important. Like it's important for both of you to share your meals together, like never missing dinner, you know, always sitting down to dinner together, always having like a nice home cooked meal. Or if you're going to go out to a restaurant, it's going to be somewhere nice. Like I just feel like someone here is a big foodie and likes to like comfort or express their love through food and through cooking. And so I think this is a pretty big aspect of the marriage, which I know may sound like silly, but food does bring people together, like it does. And this could also be signifying that if there's a holiday, like think of Thanksgiving, you know, or something like that, everyone always gathers at your home for that. Let's see what else we get here. I also think with the photo album being here on this 6 of Cups, you two take a lot of pictures together. You'll have a lot of framed photos, you know, around your home, or a lot of actual like photo albums, or even like those digital frames. But I really feel like there's a strong emphasis here on wanting to capture the moment, wanting to remember all of these good times that you two are sharing together. And you two seem like a couple that might even have like an Instagram together, or if I were to look at your social media and their social media, like it would be flooded with pictures of you two together as a couple, like traveling together, going on this date, that date. You know, I really feel like you two, like I said, spend a lot of time together doing fun things though, you know, and like really wanting to remember those moments. Like I feel like you're the couple that is always doing some kind of activity together, like bike riding or hiking or taking a class together, or going to this museum, or traveling to this country, or going to stay, you know, at this inn, or taking a road trip, or like you guys are always doing something. And I think that's why too, a lot of people sort of notice you two as a couple, because it's like, oh, well, what are they doing next, you know? And same thing if you have a family, right? Like, but you're just doing a lot of family trips then, or a lot of family outings. This manifest card is very sweet. If there was something specific, because all of you are different, right? Like even though you all are all group 2, it's still a general reading. But if there's something specific that you could wish for in your married life that you would really like to have, this to me is confirmation that you will have that. And so this could be like, I would really like to live out in the countryside, or I would really like to live in a city, or I would really like to have a partner that is a morning person like me, or is a night owl like me. You know, whatever the specific thing is, big or small, you will have that. So whatever comes to your mind first, or intuitively, that's what you will have. Yeah, some of you may have some even like specific fears when it comes to marriage. And so to me, this is your spiritual team saying you're worrying for nothing. You know, so maybe some of you worry that you're going to lose all of your independence, or maybe some of you are worried about infidelity, or you're worried about divorce, or you're worried about, you know, your partner maybe being really messy, you know, and maybe you don't want to live with a messy, disorganized person. Whatever you're worried about, your spiritual team is saying it's just anxiety. It is nothing that is based in reality. Okay, so what you're worried about is not going to come to fruition. Okay? And maybe that's just a message for some of you. Okay, yeah, maybe some of you are worried about infidelity with this jealous card coming up. I also feel like this is going back to what I was saying before, that a lot of people admire you two as a couple, but also some people may be jealous, you know, and really wish that they had a marriage like you do. And maybe not from like a hateful place, but some people may just say like, man, you know, I wish my partner, you know, wanted to spend time with me the way that you and your partner are always doing something fun together, or I wish my partner was as supportive as yours is, or I wish my partner, you know, listened to me the way that your partner does. And this could even be like people being jealous as they look through your social media, because that did come up, right? And like seeing all the happy photos of you two together as a couple, just feeling a little envious, right? Like, I wish I had that. So life partner here, love of a lifetime, stable. This is one of the best cards you could possibly get. So this marriage is going to last. You two are going to grow old together. You are going to love each other just the same, if not more, you know, 20 years, 30 years, 40 years into the marriage as you did on your first date, or the first time you said I love you, or on your wedding day. That love is consistent. It doesn't lessen. If anything, it grows and deepens. And we have passion here. So physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy, intellectual compatibility, like all of that looks good with this passion card coming through. There's real chemistry between you two. Lots of flirting. Finding each other very physically attractive, even as you grow older, even as your bodies change. Still being just as attracted to one another as you were the day that you met, or like I said, on your wedding day. That desire, that heat always being there, that spark between you two, not losing that spark. And I think making time for it as well, like making time for intimacy, because life can get so busy, and not neglecting that aspect of your marriage. Not letting, you know, the heat fade out. Yeah, putting in the effort, right? Putting in the effort. And recognizing that marriage, like any relationship, takes work, right? It's the same thing with a friendship. If you neglect a friendship over time, you may grow apart. If you never call your friend, if you never spend time with them, if you never check in with them, if you're so wrapped up in yourself, you're probably going to, over time, lose that friendship, or have there be a distance or an awkwardness, right? Relationships take effort, and both of you recognize that. Aw, we have true love. And we have chemistry. I'm hearing when the ingredients are right and the effort is there, the recipe can never go wrong. Your partner, I think, is very into cooking. You might also be into cooking, and maybe this is something you bond over, or they have a love of baking, or both. But there's such an emphasis here on food, I swear. I'm even like smelling good stuff. Like, I wasn't hungry when I sat down to film this reading, and all of a sudden I feel like these sugar cravings. But anyway, that's interesting. When the ingredients are right and the effort is there, the recipe can never go wrong. And I think they're really referring to, like, you two have this attraction to each other, this chemistry, you know. On paper, you two are a perfect match, but you also both put in that effort to keep the relationship going. And so because of that, you have a happy, healthy marriage that works. It's a marriage that works. It's a dynamic that works. You two may also bond over music. And I also feel like you two have a very similar sense of humor. You laugh at the same things. And I also feel like part of like why you two like to spend so much time together isn't just because like, oh, I want to be with my partner all the time, but it's because you both like to do the same stuff. Like you really have very similar hobbies, or you have compatible interests. So it's kind of making me think of like sometimes I see online like people who like to read a lot end up with people who like to game, because both of those things can be like solitary activities, but you can do them like in the presence of each other. Or it could be like both of you like to game, you know, or both of you like to garden, or both of you love food. We were talking about food and cooking and baking and things like that. But having shared interests, having shared hobbies, or like you both love the same kind of TV shows, or maybe both of you are very into like true crime, or both of you love sitcoms, or, you know, things like that. Like you like the same TV shows, the same movies, the same kind of music. So it's very easy for you two to spend time together because you like the same things. Or maybe both of you are super active and into fitness, and so you like to do things, you know, in relation to that, like going hiking together, or, you know, visiting different parks together. Or if you're both big animal lovers, you know, like always walking your dogs together. Or maybe both of you are super outdoorsy, and so you like to go camping, and, you know, you like to go stargazing and things like that. So it's going to be different for all of you. Just apply it how it resonates, whatever your hobbies and interests are. Maybe they're also into tarot, you know, or astrology, or whatever you're into. We have fog, obscurity, feeling lost. Oh, this is a very sweet message. Like, you're my light in the dark. And we talked about that with the togetherness card. Like when you're at your lowest, when you are feeling just lost in your own thoughts, in your own feelings, feeling like you're just at your, like I said, at your lowest. Like I could pull you back from the brink, you know? So I think whenever life gets really scary or really challenging, and maybe some of you have some serious issues going on in your life, right? Like maybe some of you have chronic health problems, or, you know, you have mental health issues, or, you know, you have a serious loss from your past, or you have trauma, or whatever the case may be. And maybe you're worried, like, is my future partner going to understand this? Are they going to be supportive of this? Are they going to be patient with me? The answer is yes. The answer is yes. Okay? Ooh. We have moth, mystery, concealment, and illusion. And I'm really just feeling drawn to this autumn card. Bounty and balance here. Now, we can take this autumn card to mean so many different things. So I'm going to go through all the messages that come through and just intuitively focus on the ones that resonate. But if they all resonate, then that's awesome too. But with autumn here, both of you could just literally love this season. Like this could be your favorite time of year. And it can be something that actually really bonds you. Like I remember one of my old supervisors, we're still friends, but she is obsessed with the autumn season. And I really love autumn too. I get excited, I think, for every season change, but autumn is one of my favorites. I would say tide whispering, but I love autumn too. And it's something that we would talk about and we would get hyped up for, you know, and we both still get very excited, and we'll send each other like memes about Halloween and things like that, and like getting basically, like I said, very hyped up for the season. So this could be something you two really bond over, or maybe both of you like really like Halloween or scary movies. Like I said, like true crime came up before, right? Things like that. Or maybe both of you really like to read like cozy mysteries, or you both like to read like thrillers, or just things associated with autumn, you know, or maybe both of you like the activities associated with autumn, you know, like apple picking or pumpkin carving, or even like we were talking about Thanksgiving, and someone here really loves food, right? So that is the holiday that is centered around, well, being grateful, but also food, if we're being honest, right? So that could be very significant. That could be your future spouse's favorite holiday because they love to cook so much. So yes, we could take this very literally. I also feel like this is signifying that any time in your life where you have to let something go and you have to process that. Autumn is all about letting things go, releasing, right? Anytime you go through something like that in your life, your future spouse is going to be so supportive and really help you through, okay? Also here with autumn, I'm also wondering if that's when you two like met or when you got married. Like, is there a significant date in the autumn season that's a very big deal for you guys, like an anniversary of sorts? So this could be also a time for celebration in your marriage because you are honoring, like I said, you know, an anniversary of sorts. I'm also thinking, because I've been watching the Gilmore Girls, I have to listen to it like radio because my baby can't watch TV. And so it's one of those shows I can put on in the background because I've seen it before. And so, like I said, I've been listening to it like radio. But there's a scene where Richard Gilmore says, "Apparently I'm an autumn." And that's like one of the quotable moments from the show. And so I'm thinking here, like maybe your future spouse would, like if they took one of those quizzes, maybe they would be in autumn as well. So if you've ever, like you can look that up if you don't know what I'm talking about, but there's different, like, I don't know how to describe it because it doesn't, it's like based on like your coloring, like what colors, like color theory or whatever it's called, like what colors would suit you best. So they may be in autumn, like, certain colors look best on them based on them being in autumn. So there's different ones. There's like clear spring, deep winter. So you can look that up. And maybe you're curious to see what season you are. I think I am a deep winter, I think. I don't know. I remember doing one of the quizzes in like high school. It's been a long time, or maybe it was college. I don't know. That's an odd message though, so it may not be for all of you, but maybe your future spouse is in autumn if they were to get the color analysis thing done. Okay, moving on. With this moth card here, mystery, concealment, and illusion. I think this just goes back to there are no secrets between you two and the things that you have kept hidden from other people. You know, the things that you haven't shared with anyone else before, whether it's a secret, whether it's an insecurity or something that happened to you in your childhood, or, you know, something you don't talk about. With your future spouse, you're going to open up about everything and they're going to do the same. You know, like there is so much openness and honesty and frankness between you two. Like this person is your vault. You can tell them anything and they will not repeat it. All right, any final thoughts, please, Spirit? We have the mystic, revels in intimate union with the divine. So your marriage is one that was divinely guided. Your spiritual team and their spiritual team wanted you two to come together in perfect divine timing. Like, this is basically like your spiritual team co-signing this union, being like, yes, this was the ideal match for you. We're so happy you two came into union together successfully. We support this. You could have a joint soul mission that you're meant to achieve together. And we did get that Six of Cups, and I did mention there being like a soulmate connection here, past lives shared together. So you two may have some unfinished business, from a past life, something that you two wanted to do together, or you just wanted more time together. It's like, I didn't get enough time with you. And maybe you have shared like multiple past lives and it just never feels like enough time. And that's been a recurring theme right throughout your reading. Like, that time you spend together is the most valuable thing in the world. Like, both of you can't get enough quality time together. Like, you both genuinely really, really love being together. And so this could also be another lifetime spent together where, again, even though you spend a ton of time together, it just never feels like enough. Like, you two really, really like to soak up each other's company. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up your reading here with an Alchemy of Spirit card. This is just a bonus message, doesn't have to relate to your reading, just whatever your spiritual team wants to tell you at this time. And we have the Heart, which is very fitting for a love reading. Card number 44. A sign of passion and desire. Find what sets your soul on fire. The Heart says, always remember what is essential and sacred. It is easy for the path to become clouded with other people's words and desires, so you forget what makes you feel alive. The Heart on fire is a powerful sign that reminds you to look inside yourself again. Find what sets your soul on fire and what makes you burst into a dance and smile when no one sees you, and align with that feeling. You are not too late and you are not too old. There is time and opportunity as long as your heart keeps beating. Explore a new hobby, a new career, a new job, a new talent, a new love, and if necessary, a new life. But please don't let your heart lose its fire. Oh, maybe for some of you, you're really worried. Maybe you're feeling a bit lost right now or a bit dissatisfied, wondering if ever you're going to meet your person or if you could love again. Maybe for some of you, you've been divorced or you've been single for a very long time. So I just feel like this is really encouragement from your spiritual team to not let your heart lose its spark, to really live life to the fullest and on your own terms. There's something really here about living life on your terms and finding that stability, finding that home for yourself where your heart is happy. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Group 3, last but never least, welcome to your reading. So we're taking a look today at your married life with your future spouse, connecting with your energy, Group 3, and the energy of your future spouse. We're going to take all upright cards today. A big thank you to my spiritual team and your spiritual team for the messages we're about to receive. As always, if you hear any background noise, I do apologize, but hopefully it's not too distracting. All right, married life with your future spouse, Group 3. We have the King of Wands, Leo, Aries, Sagittarius energy. Oops, hand slip there. We have the Four of Swords, the Nine of Pentacles, the King of Cups, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces energy, the Ace of Swords, the Eight of Swords, and the Knight of Chocolate Pentacles. And then your bottom of the deck here, we have, because I actually got an additional card by accident, your bottom of the deck here is the Seven of Cups. I meant to put your bottom of the deck here, and then I just pulled another card, so that's fine. It is what it is. But your bottom of the deck is the Seven of Cups, which tells me here, given that this is your bottom of the deck, when I look at this card, I either view it as something you have to look forward to or something that you're leaving behind. So for you, Group 3, you would be leaving behind the energy of indecision. So this tells me you would really feel like you made the best possible choice in a future spouse, like in your marriage. You know, deciding to marry your particular person, it's like I chose the best possible partner for me. So there's no energy here of regret, you know, or thinking like woulda, coulda, shoulda. What if I had ended up with someone different? No, you really feel like you chose the best possible person for you to spend the rest of your life with, which is very beautiful. Okay. I do think here that you and your future spouse are quite different, but it's one of those things where you balance each other out really, really well. And there's a lot of respect between you two for your differences. Like instead of feeling like your differences divide you, instead it's more of an appreciation. Like, man, I wish I could be a little bit more like you sometimes, you know, or really appreciating each other for your different strengths, you know, and like what you each bring to the table, which I think is really nice. Because I think one of you tends to be a bit more extroverted, you know, a bit more live in the moment, you know, go with your gut, you know, don't really overthink things, just act. And the other person is a bit more introverted, a bit more self-reflective, a bit quieter, a bit more introspective. But I do think both of you also have things that still bring you two together. So yes, there are these like striking differences, but there are also things that you two really have in common that you see in your day-to-day life. Like you see that come up quite a bit. So like maybe both of you are quite creative, quite artistic, or you both have, you know, a similar like design aesthetic, or, you know, similar views on like interior design, like how your home should look. And so that would be something that really brings you two together, right? Like something you both agree on, something that you're both interested in. So maybe you two have conversations about like, oh, you know, we should remodel, or we should build this addition on to the house, or maybe you want to build a home together. You know, maybe you want to start from scratch, or maybe on the weekends you do DIY projects together, or you go shopping for, you know, always like scouting out new furniture or like wall decor. You know, maybe both of you like to go antiquing and things like that, or you like to go shopping at thrift stores together, you know, like the thrill of the hunt kind of thing. Or maybe even the opposite. Maybe you like to go to really expensive stores, you know, and like window shop and, you know, just dream about, oh, you know, we should save up for this couch or this really nice piece of artwork. And that sort of thing, or even online shopping together. Also, like I see you two like cuddled up on the couch. I feel like shopping is actually something that both of you like to do, whether it's online or in person. But I think in relation to like home decor and things for the house, or even things for like the garden or the yard, there's just, I think, a love there for that sort of thing. Or maybe both of you two are also into, or maybe one person here is into cars, and that kind of rubs off on the other person. But I think for most of you, this is referring to the home and like really wanting to have just the most beautiful space together. And kind of have a home. I'm hearing the word curated, a home that's really curated to both of your tastes. But I think both of you have a very similar taste when it comes to interior design or like aesthetics. Like both of you like a very similar vibe. And I mean, it does happen. Like that was actually something that my husband and I bonded over, you know, in like our initial conversations together, was actually like home decor. Like both of us like very similar colors. We like earth tones, and, you know, we like to have a lot of inspiration from like nature. So like my space where I'm filming at right now is decorated kind of like a garden. Like there's flowers everywhere, and like you know, like references to like plants. And we even did my baby's nursery in like a woodland theme. So things like that, you know, can really, I'm rambling now, but can actually really bring you together. Like, because think about it. I mean, you're going to spend so much time in your home together, right? So it should be a space that's reflective of both of you. And I think, thankfully, that's an area you two both really agree on. Like you have, like I said, very similar tastes when it comes to interior design. And with this 8 of Swords and this Ace of Swords being next to each other, I do think for all of your differences, like you two are really good at helping each other out whenever you feel stuck. Like mentally, you don't know what to do. You've, you know, thought yourself into a circle. You feel more confused than ever. You can't figure out, you know, your way out of a situation. You feel like you have no choices, no options, you know, they're actually going to work. You feel all tied up. Both of you are really good at helping each other, you know, out of those mental boxes, you know, that sometimes we can put ourselves in, where we tell ourselves we have no power when we actually do. So I think because you two are so different, you're able to see the solution that the other person is overlooking or missing or is too afraid to take action on. So both of you are really good at helping each other out, out of these sticky mental blocks. And with the Knight of Chocolate Pentacles, I think both of you two are really patient with each other. We all have our shadow aspects, right? Like we all have difficult qualities about ourselves that, aren't necessarily like our strong suits, right? All of us have it. All of us have a shadow self. And I think both of you are very patient with each other when it comes to that. And honestly, I think it's because a lot of the times, like, you two find humor in your differences. Like, it's funny to you how the other person's mind works. It's funny to you what the other person worries about. Like, I would never worry about that in a million years. And here you are, like, catastrophizing that. Or I would never think of that as being an issue, but you're over here thinking it's the worst thing in the world. Like, there's a sense of humor about it, or finding a person's quirks funny instead of being frustrated or annoyed by them, that sort of thing. I do think that acts of service and gift giving are probably the two biggest love languages here. Now, that's not to say that other love languages like physical touch or words of affirmation, don't come into play. But I do think acts of service and gift giving are two really big ones that are expressed quite a bit. I feel like there's a real genuine effort here to help each other out, to do nice little things for each other. And that stuff adds up, like on a day-to-day basis, showing your partner that you care, doing nice little thoughtful things really can make a difference, right? And with gift giving here, I do think this is speaking to like buying each other really thoughtful, nice gifts on special occasions, but also just surprising each other like here and there with, again, it's the thought that really counts, right? Like showing your partner that you thought of them, that you put the effort into getting them a nice little gift, a nice little treat to boost their mood, or make them feel better if they're having a crappy day or a crappy week is very, very nice, or if they're sick, if they're feeling down, like a nice little care basket, that sort of thing. All right, let's see what else we get here. Group 3's married life. We have nature, time outside, environment, walk. Illusions, everything is not as it seems, secrets. We have regret, sadness, past actions, and karma. Relax, downtime, self-care, take a break. We have conflict, arguing, fighting, internal struggle. We have balance, work life, even ground. And we have spring, March, April, and May. Okay. Lots of messages here. So I'm just going to go through each card one at a time here, although a few of these are connected, okay? All right, for nature here, time outside, environment, walk. Maybe for both of you, spring is a favorite season or a season that you both just really enjoy or is significant. Maybe you met in the springtime or you got married in the spring. Maybe you had your first date in the springtime and it's an anniversary for you two. So just take what resonates there. But I think at least one of you really enjoys the outdoors. And, maybe both of you enjoy the outdoors. Maybe one of you is dragging the other person along. But there is an emphasis here on really enjoying being outside. So maybe going hiking or having a picnic in the park or, taking a stroll every evening after dinner or just sitting outside on the back porch. looking at the stars together, gardening together, maybe planting flower beds together, walking your pets together, bike riding, just anything outside. Maybe both of you love going to the beach or the lake or visiting the mountains, or maybe you live somewhere together where there is a really beautiful view. So maybe you have gorgeous views of nature from your house and you like to sit outside, in the mornings, take in the view, have your coffee together. That would be very romantic. I am obviously fantasizing about that myself, how nice that would be. I want a new backyard really badly. I'm not gonna lie, I miss my old backyard quite a bit. But anyway, so yeah, something like that is coming to mind. I'm trying to think if there are any other messages coming through. I feel like this nature card is pretty straightforward. And I will say too, if you have a certain activity that you like to do outside, or if you have a certain kind of environment that you really like maybe you love being by the water, that could be something that you end up sharing with your future spouse. Okay. And also a love of travel as well, with the compass being there. So maybe both of you like to travel together, but especially places where there's really beautiful scenery and the natural landscape is very beautiful. Okay. Now, illusions is connected to this regret card. This is something to be mindful of. This could be your energy. It could be the energy of your future spouse. This could be both of you. But you may have triggers, or your future spouse may have triggers from the past that you might project onto your partner from time to time. And this is not a criticism. Like I said, we all have shadow aspects. And so this is something to be mindful of, okay? You're getting this message now. So whether your future spouse is doing it to you or you're doing it to them, or both of you are doing this, it's something to be mindful of, okay? Because it can create unnecessary conflict, okay? So I think the most obvious example here would be if you were cheated on in the past, or someone lied to you in the past. This could create trust issues. And so even if your partner has been honest and faithful to you, if you still have those hang-ups from the past, you could project those fears onto your partner and worry that they are lying to you when they're actually being honest with you. So, convincing yourself that they must be unfaithful to you when actually they have not. They have not been, cheating on you whatsoever. There's no infidelity. It's just scars from your past, wounds from your past, that still need some healing. Or this could even be a fear of abandonment. Maybe you have some insecurities around, am I really lovable? Is my future spouse going to stay with me? A fear of divorce. And so being so afraid that your partner is going to leave you, that you project those feelings onto them and you think that they're going to abandon you, when really they've given you, no indication that they're going to leave you. I think this is reminding me in the TV show Friends, Monica and Chandler have their first fight together, and Chandler just assumes that, okay, the relationship is over now, we had a fight. And Monica's like, what are you talking about? That's so normal. Couples fight. This is normal. I'm not leaving you. It's not over. It's fine, right? But Chandler had those issues from his past, right? He had never really had a stable, healthy relationship, and his parents, divorce really messed him up. So it could be something like that. So just be mindful. Those are just some examples, but if intuitively something else is coming to mind, always listen to your intuition, but just be aware of this, okay? Now with relax, I'm actually being called to the episode of Parks and Rec. Oh man, what are their names? It's been so long since I've seen that show, but remember the Treat Yourself episode? What's her name? Is her name Rhonda and Tom? Are those their names? I can't remember. I'm so sorry. It's been forever since I've seen that show. But anyway, it's reminding me of that episode. So I really feel like you and your future spouse do like, to indulge in like luxury items or fine dining experiences. If you're going to go on vacation, you're going to go all out. Money is thrown around, from time to time. Really indulging, really pampering yourselves, enjoying that self-care. Like you would be the couple that goes to a nice spa together, or goes on a little shopping spree together, or, really indulges in, like I said, fine dining experiences where you go and it doesn't matter about the cost. We're just going to have a good time. We're going to do appetizer, main course, dessert, drinks, coffee afterwards, and forget about the bill. We are celebrating. We are pampering ourselves. We're having a good time. And this could even be like really buying self-care items for the house as well. So really indulging in things like that. So this could be like bigger items, like you really want like a nice soaker tub or something like that. Or if working out and physical self-care is really important to you, maybe having like a really nice home gym. So it could be things like that. Now, of course, you don't have to spend money to pamper yourself or to indulge in self-care. But if I'm being honest, I feel like y'all do. I feel like you have that money to play with and you play with it, right? Like, I feel like you two both have this mindset of we can't take it with us, And so it's okay to budget some money out to just treating ourselves and enjoying the finer things in life. And that's okay. And you could be like the couple too that like gives each other like massages, or even like, okay, this is going to be our weekend where we just bed rot and we just binge watch our favorite show and order our favorite takeout. That can be self-care sometimes too, right? Like sometimes you kind of just need to indulge. And so, whatever self-care looks like to you, whatever pampering looks like to you, I feel like you and your future spouse are on the same page with that, okay? Now with conflict here, I do think this conflict comes up because you two are quite different, but I think that's intentional, okay? You are meant to trigger each other a bit, but I honestly feel like this comes from, okay, you feel stuck. You feel lost? I'm telling you, this is the solution that you're not seeing. And sometimes when you're in that Eight of Swords energy, you can feel so disempowered, you almost don't want to hear it. And I've done this myself. I really have, I will assume that I know the outcome. Like I have my moon in Gemini. I get myself into this situation all the time because I overthink things. And so I think both of you do this at different points, but it's one of those situations where you're assuming you know the outcome to any possible decision. And so you're like, well, I can't do X because then this would happen. Or if I did that, then this would happen. They would say this, and then, I'd be right back where I started. And, I can't do this because of this. And we keep ourselves stuck. We assume we know the outcome of any particular decision when we really don't know. And we tell ourselves that we don't have any power in the situation when we really do. We're just afraid, to take action. And so I think you challenge each other But honestly, I think sometimes we need that. And I think sometimes you need this conflict. Sometimes you need someone to call you out. And sometimes your future spouse needs someone to call them out and say, hey, you're in this. This is what you're doing to yourself. You are telling yourself you don't have the power to change your situation when you actually do. So I think you two push each other when needed. You may not like it in the moment. You may be annoyed with your future spouse. You may be quite irritated with them, but later you will thank them, and vice versa. You know, sometimes you're going to tick them off, but later they're going to come back and say, you know what, you were right. I didn't want to see it, but you were right. Sometimes you're going to butt heads, but it really helps both of you to grow in your own ways. So you do balance each other out. And I will say too, like, both of you have a good balance in your marriage, in your day-to-day life between work and play. I do think you two have, I think, similar ideas of what that balance looks like. It's different for everyone, right? Like, some people are like workaholics and they really like to be productive, and other people like to just relax. So whatever balance looks like to you, I think you and your future spouse have very similar ideas about that. Like, I really feel like you're the couple that works hard to play hard. Yeah, I think that's coming through quite strongly. Oh, and I forgot to say also with this spring card here, I do think of new beginnings and I think of change. I feel like your marriage is almost going to go through different eras, like different chapters. Both of you are going to grow so much over the course of this marriage. And I think one of the beautiful aspects to this relationship is, because you two start off being so different from each other, it doesn't scare you when you see your partner changing so much, and it doesn't scare them when they see you changing so much. Sometimes you see that in relationships where one person starts evolving, and you see this in friendships too, but one person starts evolving and the other person worries about losing them, so they try to like hold them back or say like, oh, you're becoming a different person, I don't recognize you. But really you're just making positive changes in your life. I actually see this a lot on reality television. Like, I could give so many reality TV examples. I won't. But I've seen that happen so many times when someone starts to like leave like a partying lifestyle and their friends don't want them to. But anyway, because you two start off as so different to begin with, it doesn't worry you as your partner changes. And it doesn't worry them as you change, because you two started off being so different to each other anyway, you know? So you don't hold back each other's growth. In fact, you encourage it. I like to see this trust card because this tells me that while these issues come up, it's not going to break your marriage, and that trust is built over time. And I mean, sometimes that's what you need. When it comes to trusting your partner, for some people, if they have dealt with liars in the past, if they have dealt with infidelity in the past, time honestly is the most healing thing and sometimes the only medicine. It really is, because you could promise me all day long that you're going to be like faithful to me, or that you're going to stay, or that you're going to be committed. But if I have been hurt and lied to so much in the past, I may not be able to believe you no matter how much I want to. So it may be one of those things where time will tell. Like, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, but I'm just going to wait and see. And so this tells me over time, these issues will resolve themselves. You know, those projections will stop because you'll see through your partner's actions, and they'll see through your actions, that you are trustworthy, that you are committed, that you are going to stay, you know, and put in the work. So trust is built with time in this connection, and I think that just comes from past hurt. Not with each other, you know, but with, you know, whoever you dealt with in the past, or whoever they dealt with in the past. This influence card is funny. You two are little gossips together. Like, you do like to gossip together. It's kind of cute. And I don't think that there's any real harm in it, because a lot of the times they don't know the person you're talking about, and you don't know the person that they're talking about. It's kind of giving the energy to me of like, oh, this is what happened at work today, and I'm going to gossip to you about what's going on with my coworker that you've never met and probably will never meet, you know, or I'm going to gossip about my friend Cindy, but you only really know her in passing. You never actually spent time with her and probably never will. So there's like, it may not be, I don't know, like the most ethical thing, but I think everyone gossips a bit. And honestly, I think you two enjoy it. So it's a bonding moment. It's a bonding moment. Aw, we have fear coming out with commitment. Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this quite a bit. I was just mentioning it, but those fears that you have, and maybe your future spouse has similar fears, or both of you have different fears about relationships, but whatever the case, both of you two are committed, and you will see over time those fears that you have around love, especially trust issues, are going to be resolved, or fears of abandonment are going to be resolved, okay? Because I think at least one person is coming into this relationship with fears surrounding love, you know, certain beliefs around love that have been colored by, unfortunately, negative past experiences or childhood trauma, you know, things like that. And so I really do feel like this marriage, this relationship, restores your faith in love. And again, this could be an energy mirrored for your future spouse as well. We have buds, new beginnings, and expansion. So this is spring energy twice now, especially with the cherry blossoms. Fun fact, but I have been obsessed with cherry blossoms lately. I don't know why, but I have had this sudden fixation on cherry blossoms. Like, I don't know what it is, but I love them all of a sudden. My work has this AI thing where you can type in like just a description of a picture and it will create the picture. And I am constantly doing pictures with cherry blossoms. I don't know why. Again, like it's just been this thing with me lately. But anyway, I'm taking that as a sign of good luck now, anytime I see a cherry blossom. So I'm passing on that good luck to you now that we've seen the cherry blossom. But anyway, cherry blossoms only bloom for a short period of time, right? We have to appreciate them while they're here, but we also know they're going to bloom next spring. So I think it's this energy of being present, of being grateful, but also knowing you're going to get to experience this moment again with time. So I really do feel like you have a certain anniversary that's really important in the springtime. So again, maybe your wedding day or your first date or the first time you two said I love you, but there's a significant date. And maybe it's your birthday, their birthday, but there's a significant date, or even possibly the birth of a child too, if you want children. But the springtime is important for you all. And that makes me think of holidays of celebration, right? Like, we know we only have a day, right, to experience it, to appreciate it. But we also know we're going to get to celebrate again next year, right? So that makes me think of anniversaries and important dates and things like that. And I also feel like for those of you, and this may not apply to everyone in this group, but for those of you that have really, really struggled, and you just feel like, man, I have been so unlucky in love, or I've been single for forever, or you have just dealt with, I don't know, just a lot of heartbreak, unrequited love, things like that, just struggles, in relationships, maybe in general. I really do feel like this relationship with your future spouse is a totally new beginning. In love for you, it's a gentler cycle, it's a softer cycle, it's a hopeful one. Is it one that pushes you to grow? Yeah, but growing through happiness instead of pain, which I think is really nice. And we also have autumn here, bounty and balance. I do feel like letting go of all of those issues from the past. Everyone brings emotional baggage, right, into any new relationship. I don't know why TV shows are coming up so much. I haven't seen How I Met Your Mother in a very long time. I tried rewatching it one time and I did not like it on the rewatch, like, whatsoever. But I remember there was an episode where they had everyone carrying around suitcases to represent like emotional baggage. So yeah, anyway, this relationship is really going to be a release of all of that emotional baggage. It's going to happen over time. It's not something that's going to be immediate, but this relationship will free you, will give you a sense of liberation to shed all of that emotional baggage from the past. And we have seeds, new ideas, hope, and open-mindedness. You introduce your partner to a lot of experiences, hobbies, interests, maybe even foods, places that they would never go to, music that they would never listen to, because you two are so different, right? So you introduce them to so many new things, and they introduce you to new things as well. Maybe you two come from different cultural backgrounds, or you were raised very differently. But there's just this energy of almost like entering a whole new world, or seeing a totally different side of life, just experiencing things and doing things that you would never do had you not met your future spouse. And being open-minded too, like, I would never listen to this artist, if you hadn't suggested this album to me, or I would never have tried out this restaurant if you didn't say it was your favorite, or, I never would have thought to travel to this country, if you hadn't said it was the best, vacation you took, in the past before, or I never would have thought to live there, but you spoke so highly of it and I fell in love with that place too now, or, just whatever the case under the sun, really. But yeah, just opening each other up to new beliefs, new ideas, new interests. All right. Teacher. Ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. I really feel like this ties well into the seeds card that we just talked about. But teaching each other, right? Like showing each other a whole new side of life, a whole new perspective on life, a different outlook. I really do feel like your future spouse could have been raised like very far away from you, like is from a completely different culture, a completely different place than you. And so they may talk to you about like the religion that they were raised in, or the beliefs that they were raised in their household. different holidays that were celebrated from their culture. I'm even thinking about how different countries can have like a sort of different sense of humor, like I'm thinking about how they say like British humor is very dry and like different to like American humor, or even just different holidays, different customs that are celebrated, different ways of socializing, right? Like some places there's a lot of small talk, and then you travel to a different country and they don't engage in small talk at all, right? So, and it could just be too, like maybe two are from the same country but a different region. Like there can be significant like regional differences depending upon what country we're talking about, right? And I also really feel like you two are going to love to travel together, and as you travel together, really getting to know each other, I think you can learn a lot about a person when you travel and you see them in a different environment. So it's like we're both learning through our travels, right? Through experiencing different cultures, but we're also learning a lot about each other, like seeing each other in new and different environments. And this is honestly like, I don't know, I'll be honest, I don't know if I believe in twin flames, but the way that she is separating the world here, like has split it into, makes me think of that idea of a twin flame, like you are the same soul split in half, like you are my other half. And that could be that sense that you get, right? Like even if you wouldn't label it as a twin flame relationship, like I said, I don't even know necessarily I believe in twin flames, but this idea that you are my other half, and not that you maybe necessarily complete me, but you complement me perfectly. Like you fill in my missing pieces and I fill in yours, or like we're two puzzle pieces that fit together perfectly. Maybe not missing pieces, maybe that's not the right phrasing, because I don't feel like it's necessarily like they fill in your missing pieces and you fill in theirs, but more so like because of who they are, they trigger aspects of you that maybe you have forgotten or neglected or repressed, and you do the same thing for them. It's almost like they bring out a side to you that you didn't know you possessed within you, and you do the same for them. So because you two complement each other so well, because you have these stark differences, you actually help each other go on a self-development journey to become your most complete self individually. Sorry, it took me a while to work through that message, but I wanted to get the phrasing just right so you could understand what I was trying to convey based on what your spiritual team was showing me. But yes, if that makes sense. So it's not that you two are like two halves coming together like I thought it was initially, but it's more complicated than that. You are helping each other as individuals become your most complete self. By yes, sometimes triggering each other, other times supporting each other, but those differences between you illuminate and show the parts of yourself that you have repressed or not, noticed or not nurtured, or maybe were completely oblivious to even, right? But they bring out a side to you that you haven't recognized before. But it's like, I haven't recognized this side to myself, but I would like to get to know this side to myself more. I didn't know I had this in me, but it's kind of like a pleasant surprise to know that I do, to know that I am capable of these things that I thought I could never do. And I think that's so sweet. It's like helping each other realize individually your full potential. That's such a simpler way of saying that. I'm so sorry. All right. Now we are going to wrap up your reading with an Alchemy of Spirit card for my group 3s. And we have the House, card number 5. And this is just a message from your spiritual team, whatever they want to say to you. We have Moment of Order. If you want to talk to the gods and the stars, start by planting your feet on the ground. At this moment, you are on a search, but maybe you don't need to go that far to find the answers that you seek. If you sometimes embark on long and treacherous journeys, desperately seeking the answers to the most existential matters, but you avoid making your bed in the morning, then maybe the next revelation you seek is in doing the dishes. The spiritual answers are not only in temples, but also in the very ordinary activities that compose life that you avoid sometimes. Maybe it is a simple task, such as sending an email you've been avoiding, returning a phone call, cleaning your room, doing your laundry, or practicing your meditation, visiting a friend, or even walking your dog. But you must stay grounded and connected to your material life to avoid living in the clouds. You'll be surprised how the most mystical answers can come while watering your plants. You see, everything is spiritual work if you understand that the whole experience of life is the miracle. Please don't forget to live while you search for the gods. I'll tell you right now, I have gotten the most intuitive downloads just from vacuuming. Like, there's something about the combination of doing something mindless and easy while also having that white noise, and that just, I don't know, messages come through so much more easily when I'm vacuuming. So maybe that'll work for you all as well. But okay, group 3, this was your reading. All right, that concludes your reading. I hope it resonated. I hope it brought you some comfort. Please consider liking, commenting, sharing, or subscribing. Hitting the notification bell lets you know whenever I upload. The easiest way to support the channel is to watch the ads. I know they can probably be a little bit annoying, but you can always mute them and just have them on in the background. So I really appreciate anyone who does that as well. I also want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has watched the ads already, been a regular viewer, donated on Venmo, tipped with SuperThanks, or just commented or liked a video. It means the world to me and to Miss Gracie, of course. I'm wishing everyone the best as always. Please take care, and I hope to see you in